This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with the one and only honey lover friend, Stash. This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with the one and only honey lover friend, Stash Cash. Lynn from This Little Shed of Mine, Entirely Early Bird, Homebody Trish, The Supreme View, P9 Travel Vlogs, The Source, T's Journey, Christy Love, Novelty Queens, Crystal's World, Lunar Dream. Would you rather get slapped every time you say, or would you rather have someone hold your man part every time you use the bathroom? Hashtag, are you locked in? Also, y'all know him as Chip. Would you rather be a stunt driver that has to crash into the ocean every time their cue is to go? Or would you rather be Cookie Monster and go live in Walmart?
What? Wait, Cookie Monster? Father, we thank you. This blessed mind. What? Wait, Cookie Monster? So I am Cookie Monster.
The Real Fee Nicole, DSYG, model Lorianne, Lights with Des, Corey's World, Coach Me Reen. I thought that was wild.
It is, but licking it, like you to a whole nother level.
Child. Queen Alchemy, are you ready for these questions?
I am ready for these questions. I'm an open book. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for my lateness, but I'm so happy that all of you are here. And I'm so geeked because today I'm going to be interviewing Mary, and her channel name is Blessed to Crochet. How you doing, love?
I'm doing good. I am enjoying this beautiful day.
I know. It's a really hot day out here in Georgia. I hope it's not too crazy with the heat over where you are.
We're in Ohio. I cannot wait for fall.
Fall is actually my favorite time.
We were driving home and I saw something that looked like fall and I got all excited. My husband's like, that's not it. I said, there's a glimmer of hope.
I know, right? Mm-hmm.
Take it.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Are you ready to get into these questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question I have for you here is, what made you want to start YouTube?
Connection. And I didn't know YouTube was the place you could go for that. I just thought it's a place you can watch videos and, and learn stuff. I never knew it had anything to do with connection. And it was because my aunt was diagnosed with cancer in 23 and I found communities and I found people to help me through it and help me when she needed to come up and give our family that one last tug. They were there to help, both to get her a plane ticket up here to help and just be there for support. So we started it for that reason. And I thought I need the connection because I deal with chronic pain on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's just not fun.
I know, right? I completely understand. I love that about YouTube. Like, it's huge on connecting with so many people that are like all over the world. And I think that is really dope that we're all able to get on here and communicate and meet one another. I think it's really, really flat. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We crochet connection.
So
no crochet hook is required.
I know. OMG. Okay. So I do want to ask, my next question is, what makes you valuable? Like, what makes you feel most valuable?
My family is very supportive, especially my husband, and I'm very grateful for that. And my community that we have built has certainly helped with taking some, really broken tapes and making me realize that I'm important and that I can have friends and people want to have and be my friend. And I've had brothers and sisters now because I'm an only child. And I am just so grateful for that. And, when you're raising, I've raised an autistic child, you sometimes get very lonely because nobody really understands. And so I was very isolated for a very long time because my focus was my daughter. And of course, she's my most precious gift from God that I could ever ask for. So my family really is important to me.
Yeah, I can relate because I'm really, really big on family, and so many people that are actually connected to me, they know that about me. It's one thing that will never change for sure. So I love to hear that you love your family and you have a strong connection because there's some people out there that actually don't, and it really kind of sucks to hear that some people don't have the same
Yeah.
connections that I feel and I value when it comes to my family. So I definitely would always wish for people to be able to have that because having that bond is something that's completely incredible. And I would love for people to be able to experience people that known you from birth and get to see all of your ups and downs and just like root you on and all of that. So yeah,
Yeah, my mom
I
just
love
lives
it.
down the hall.
Hmm.
We all live together. We help each other, and I think that that's something pretty special that my husband, after my dad died of dementia, my husband's like, okay, I got to take care of my girls, which was my daughter and my mom and myself. And he said, as long as your mom's with us, she's going to live with us, so we can take care of her and we can all help each other. So that says a lot about him too, because there's not a lot that would allow your mother-in-law to live with you, but he does graciously because
Right.
he wants to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, my next question for you is if you had to relive a moment, which moment would that be and why?
I'd like to say my daughter's wedding, but probably not. It was beautiful, but that was an exhausting time because I kind of was in the back scenes doing a lot of things. Um, Probably the time I'd relive is when my daughter, who was autistic, we had raised, and for those people that are not sitting down, I would recommend that you do. We took and raised $15,000 to get her an autism service dog. I'm not misquoting. My husband needs a diabetic service dog that costs us about 20 to 25,000 now. This was back in 2013 when we did it for my daughter, and that first time when she saw him, and that was the dog she winded up with, and that connection that they made almost instantaneously. Man, I could repeat that over and over again. Never get tired of it.
I
So,
understand. Wow, that's incredible. I
yep.
hope that everything works out because oh my goodness.
Yep. He served her for 7 years, Jordan did, and then he passed in 2019. That was the hardest time, is when we had to say goodbye. But he was a
Yeah.
life-changing thing for her. So,
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It always like it's never easy having to like let go of somebody.
no, and especially when it's that service animal that was with her pretty constantly, that was really hard. And she got in the car because he came from a shelter situation, so he didn't have a birthday, and so she said, "Mom, I want to share my birthday." Well, and that's what they did. And then he had diabetes the last year of his life. Christina was diagnosed with the autism plus diabetes in 2013. And she helped him the last year. And he just went downhill on her birthday very quickly. And I said to them, you can't put her down, put him down on, their birthday. And they kept him, alive until 12:30 the next day in the morning, and we had to let him go, and then got in the car, and I went in the back seat, and I said to my daughter, I'm here for you. She was at that point 21, and she goes, Mama, don't touch me, because she couldn't handle that, which was so hard for
Mm.
me to think I can't comfort my daughter. But I can guarantee you, if there was a dog there, boy, she'd have been all over that. But it's not easy because they have a hard time with their emotions.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Oh, that's so sad. So like over like as far as like everything that's happened, how have you been able to like cope with all of this? Because it sounds like so much.
Well, I have a strong faith in God. And that certainly helps me to get through that. I've been through an abusive first marriage. I've had a dad with dementia. I've raised an autistic child. I deal with fibromyalgia, which is a chronic, uh, uh, disorder. And I just keep pressing through. I'm very determined. This girl is determined. And when I was in school, my teachers would always say, she's the kind of person that can't take a break. She does the C's and D's and kind of gets through. Some of the kids with A's, they can take vacations. She just has to keep going. And my dad was very persistent. He was a go-getter. I have a learning disability. I have a reading disability. I most likely have dyslexia. But it wasn't diagnosed properly when I was a kid. And so I struggle with getting words correctly and reading. And so that was one of my things when I came on YouTube that I thought, you know what, I was kind of nervous to do because I thought I'm probably going to misread names. I'm going to misread, messages that come through because it gets all jumbled up in this head of mine. But I've just said, okay, that's part of me. And I want to show other people, just do it. Don't let anything stop you.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you are able to push yourself when it comes to all of this because I know that it is so much. Oh my goodness. But yes, okay. So my next question I have for you here is if regret was your best friend, what would be your enemy?
Regret was my best friend. What you were an enemy. I can be a procrastinator at times. So I struggle with that. And I have to sit there and go, you got to just do it. And of course, having fibromyalgia, um, that's hard. It makes my days kind of hard to kind of go through because, you wake up, you kind of don't know how you're feeling the next day. And so that's my Achilles heel. It's not something that I think I'll ever get. I don't want to be held to a schedule. I've never been this kind of, I feel like schedules are put you in a box and I don't want to be put in a box. It's the creative part of me.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I don't like to be in boxes at all. I don't like people to put me in a box. If they're gonna put me in a box, it's gonna be a box of J, and that box better expand to the ends because I continue to
Absolutely.
grow, and that's one thing that I love
Yep.
about me. I like to try new things. I like, I feel like a lot of people that know me, they get me and they know what I'm all about, and they know that I'm always elevating myself. So I love to be able to see people that have that same type of mentality do the same. I love rooting people on. That's the whole reason why 20
And
plus
we have
institutions started.
we have to help each other lift each other
Yeah.
up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and not focus on tearing everybody down. And in YouTube, there is wonderful places. But there's people that I don't know how they get up in the morning and think, I'm going to destroy people's life on this thing. I just think to myself, if that's your only goal in life, go find something else, please.
No, I
you know,
understand.
I don't understand it.
I get it. I definitely get where you're coming from when it comes to that because YouTube for a lot of people, especially for me, it kind of feels like yes, it is a way that I do want to be able to make an income. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first started YouTube, I definitely wanted to be able to turn it into a source of income. But I also over time gained to realize that building my community, I've met so many amazing people and it kind of became a space for me to kind of get away from the outside world. It became like a inner kind of thing, and I love it so much for that.
Well, and you've got people that, like when I was raising my autistic daughter, I didn't go out a lot of places. I was too tired. It's like raising 2 or 3 kids at once. And then, and by the way, that's my precious one right there. um, but she's an amazing. I love my kids. So hi, Chrissy.
I know, right?
But there's people that may be taking care of an elderly person that cannot go out, and and can't do those things, or are dealing with chronic pain. And there's days I can't do the things I'd like to do because I'm hurting. And I can get involved in this community. We have the Blessed to Crochet, and then we have the Blessings Through Connection. And I do that when I can't go live, and I still get the connection. And then Mama gets the revenue from Blessed to Crochet. And that makes my heart very happy, because she worked for 7 years to care for my dad. She didn't get retirement.
Aw.
And so if it helps her with her bills, or go gets a new pair of shoes, or whatever it is, and it means a lot. And yes, you are amazing, my daughter.
I love that. Okay. So my next question for you is, if you started YouTube 20 years ago when YouTube first launched, what would you have picked back then for your niche to be, and why?
I don't know if it'd be different. I didn't get the whole connection thing. That was for sure. That's something that I certainly come into, especially after my community helped me to see my aunt one last time. We raised, when you're dealing with cancer, you don't have extra funds. And they were able to come together and help her with the plane ticket. And my daughter and her got a horseback riding hour and a half together. Precious pictures from that. And I got to give her that before she passed this year. And I don't know if I really got the whole connection and how much that's important. I remember just thinking back when I was with a good friend of mine, laughing over a selfie stick. Christina was probably about 13, somewhere in there. And this was in Florida. That's why this girl gets so excited about fall, because I was raised in Florida for 40 years. And we got done, and I went in my car, and I started crying. And I'm thinking, why should I be crying? I had this wonderful time. It's because I didn't have a lot of girlfriends to sit on the couch with me and laugh. And
Oh,
I would have probably been trying to encourage people. And I feel like some of the stuff that I've gone through in my life, if it helps somebody else, if it helps a young girl that maybe is in an abusive relationship to realize she doesn't need to be treated like that, or somebody that has raising an autistic child, I'd probably done the same exact thing, just encouraging people and helping people. I got a big heart.
yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
do. That's amazing. I love that. I feel like sometimes when you don't get to do the things, especially when you're younger, or just things that you think of, it makes you want to do certain things like that when you get older, just to be able to experience. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I think as you get older, you get wiser. We're not perfect by any stretch of the means, that's for sure. And one of the things we did, recently we did a live about the Quilters, which is a Netflix series, 32-minute series. And it is about men in prison that make quilts for foster children. They have made over 2,000 quilts. And this episode aired in 2025. And it's 32-minute documentary. And I said to everybody, listen, we have a P.O. box. If you'd like to send any quilting supplies, fabric, sewing supplies, batting, they make weighted blankets for autistic children and vests for autistic children, send it to my P.O. box. We'll put a box together. We'll send it to them, because they go on total donations. And they make beautiful, beautiful blankets. And sometimes these foster kids, they walk out with nothing but the clothes on their back. And I said, we'll put a box together and we'll send them a note from the Blessed to Crochet community. And if you feel led to do it on your own, go ahead and do it. And I don't think we realize that there's a lot of power in YouTube to be able to help other people.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
Wow. So when it comes to you like crocheting, how long have you been crocheting for?
I've been crocheting since 2013. My aunt, not the aunt that passed away, I thought, this is cool. Let me try. And I tried. And I tried thinking, this is easy. I can do this on YouTube and find how to do it. And I actually had to go to a place down in Fort Lauderdale and go down there and have somebody show me how to do it. And I said, I'm making one hat, and it was just a square hat, single crochet. And I'm just making one hat. That's all I'm doing. And I thought, I'm never crocheting again. I should have never said that. But I thought, I'm doing one hat. And I just kept going, and I kept getting better. Just like with you all, you're going to start a YouTube channel. And, when we first did our YouTube channel, this thing wasn't here. I tried to craft something from Dollar Tree that I spent 2 hours and about $20 and looked ridiculous. And I found this on OfferUp. It was actually a picture frame wall divider.
Oh, I see. I wouldn't have even known that.
It's behind this is my TV. I do it in our bedroom. So do it wherever you need to. Use whatever equipment you have. And I knew I needed a microphone, and I needed the camera, and those were $60, and this was $10 on OfferUp. And I thought, I've got some yarn. Purple and turquoise is our colors, because turquoise is my daughter's favorite and purple's mine. And that's were my mama's two favorite girls. So we used the colors, and I throw something together. This is a sign from Dollar Tree, and I used my Cricut Maker. And I crocheted this on the side so it doesn't look like apartment walls, but just do it. Don't worry about it. And you never know where it could get you. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's literally everything in life. Like, you trying your best to do something, it's always going to start off with you not knowing exactly how to do it. Of course, no one just like thinks they're going to do something and just knows how to do it before they do it. It's always, you have to go through, you have to experience it, you have to try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to try until you actually get it right. And it's amazing to find out when you try something new and you get to doing it, when you put your own like flavor into it, what it can turn into. I think that is so dope. And I think that people should always be able to explore, because you don't know what it can turn into. You can turn it into something that can be like $1 million company. You don't even know.
Well, we
Like,
do.
it's so crazy.
We have these. So these are our crocheted connection cakes. These are in our merch store. And
That's so cute.
anybody can order these. So we did these basically for anybody that wanted to give a cupcake as a gift. But also just think of it, if you're a YouTuber and somebody's having a birthday, you can raise a
Oh, that's a
cupcake for
great
them.
idea.
And we put, now
It's
nobody
so
else can have the
cute.
purple sparkles. Sorry, that's for this girl. And we put our name on it. So what does that mean? Everybody's going to see this is a Blessed to Crochet connection cake. And then also, when you all are out in this world and you have a YouTube channel, think about the fact that pens stick, I think it's Sticker Mueller or something like that. Places that you could get little things that you could put together, that you could hand somebody if you're talking about your YouTube channel. They may never go to it. So what we did is we started doing these. These are soap caddies. They take my time of about 25 minutes to do. It takes a little bit of cotton yarn, and people can put the soap in and rub it up. And when the soap's done, they throw it in the washer and they start all over again. And what we do is I keep these in my purse. So if I've talked to somebody about the channel, I take one out of my purse and I hand them this. Every time they use this, they're thinking about us. If somebody on the YouTube streets is having a celebration, I said, you know what? I'll donate 2 soap caddies. They're in our merch store. If anybody wants to get them as a gift, they can get them. But it's an inexpensive way in order to help to also promote the thing, promote our channel. And crochet takes me away from the fact that I hurt. Fibromyalgia comes with anxiety, migraines, sleep issues, all this kind of stuff. But we all have kind of like a pain light, if you think about it. And when you normally have a headache, comes on, that pain light comes on, and you take a Tylenol, the pain light goes off. my pain light never goes off. I sit at
Oh
about a 2 or
man.
3 every solitary day. So if I sat there thinking of that every solitary moment, I think I would go. I wouldn't. I would. It would be horrible. So doing this gets your mind off of that, as well as going on YouTube and connecting with people, gets it off that, and gets it out of, onto something positive. It's like, I said to people, even though I'm not in prison, I'm in a pain prison. My aunt,
Yeah.
we're doing that whole thing with the box sending off to that prison in memory of my aunt. She was an alcoholic and drug user. She got sober the last 13 years of her life. She was in a prison. How many of us really put ourselves in a box and are in a prison for one thing or another? And I said, and I get to come out of it when I do my crochet. I love doing blankets with actually making them very personable and being able to make people's names on them and all that kind of stuff. That's my favorite thing to do. But if I'm out and about and I can't take the big blankets with me, I take my crochet bag. We were at my doctor's today and I crocheted one of those in about 25 minutes. So,
Oh wow. So, when you first started crocheting compared to the time that you're able to finish it, let's say if you did a blanket and probably like just a regular size blanket that you would probably usually do. When you first started, how long will it take you compared to how you do it now? Would you be able to do a blanket? You said so you did a blanket in, or how long
no,
would that?
this took me about 25 minutes to do.
Oh, okay.
When I first did it, it would take me a while. I do one Pacific blanket because I tend to, when I do a single crochet, it goes whoop. I don't know what I do. I seem to add stitches for some reason. I don't know what it is. I do C to C blankets, which is kind of this kind of pattern in here. And I do the other blankets. And I can do a blanket if I really focus on nothing else in about a month.
Okay.
I mean, I've been on live and people say, "How do you crochet so fast?" I said, "This takes you just get in it. You get in used to doing it." So I can crochet for hours if I allow myself to do it and don't take a break. But it helps on days I'm really struggling. I'm going to that because I can escape from it, from the pain.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that you have your thing that really helps you because a lot of people don't have their way of escaping. Thank you so much, Eva. You're so amazing. Thank you everybody for being here. It's 20 Questions with Jay. I'm here with Mary from Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content, okay? So my next question, hey Source. So my next question that I have for you here is, would you rather fall in love with a lizard or have to explain to everyone why you identify as a squid?
Oh, I think I'd rather fall in love with a lizard.
Yeah, why you pick the
Absolutely.
lizard? Why would you
Thankfully,
pick
I
the
didn't
lizard?
have to.
I
To
know.
either one of
That's
those
for real.
things.
Mm-mm. That lizard's gonna have a whole bunch of clothes dealing with you with the crochet. Because I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get the size and everything. They're gonna be living their best life.
Yes.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to identify as a squid either.
No, I don't
I
think
sure
so.
would not. Yeah, no. Okay, so my next question for you here is, what's the hardest thing so far that you've encountered that you have not conquered but you want to?
I have to think about that one for a second. I think still kind of overcoming, not that I have tapes running through my head about that
Hmm.
nobody wants to be my friend because I don't have that anymore, but sometimes, you know, I think overcoming negativity or taking things, I tend to be a very sensitive individual, and I have certainly been criticized for being oversensitive in my life, but at a time when my daughter could not, most autistic children do not regulate their emotions well. And I could clue into them very easily. And I'm thankful that I did. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was just kind of like, you know, I kind of clued into that in a way that I don't think I could have if I wasn't so, if I didn't have that just a little extra touch of sensitivity, in my spirit and so forth. And so I have to be very careful because I don't like I don't like tension. I want to be friends with everybody, but not everybody wants to be friends with this girl. I'm a lot. I had a Greek grandfather and a Scottish grandmother, so just put them two together and you'll get this girl. I've never met a stranger, so I can just talk for hours. My mother has no idea how I do it. She's why she's in the back office a lot of the times. But I think just not taking everything so much to heart. I still struggle with that, where I kind of beat myself up in a way I probably shouldn't do it. Just I don't. It's just like, Mary, it's okay, but it's me, and I'm proud of being me because everybody else is taken, and that's one thing we say on our channel. Nobody else.
I know. I love that. That's so amazing. So when it comes to you say that you feel like not a lot of people like want to be friends with you. Do you feel like you probably know why, or is that just still like misunderstood?
Well, I was heavily bullied in school, um, and so because of that, um, I was the loner, the kid that wasn't, the prettiest probably to the guys, and certainly not the thinnest. I was a huge Elvis fan when I was 12 years old. And so this 12-year-old kid back in the 80s who didn't like all of the new stuff but liked Elvis and all this kind, I was an awkward kid, and I was very heavily bullied. And then I just and then of course I think when I was raising my daughter, I think the parents were worse than the kids. They knew something wasn't right with my daughter. She wasn't invited to birthday parties and stuff like that. And instead of coming beside me and saying, you know what, I understand that, you're struggling with something or so forth, you know, can you, you know, can I come and take you out to lunch and or have a cup of coffee and tell me all about it? They would just, you know, kind of just push me aside. And it was like, come on. It was a very lonely time. And I was too
Aw.
tired to do anything. That's why I'm like to people, listen, if you've got to put me on the couch or on a table while you've got somebody just talking to you and you don't feel like you're by yourself, go do it. We're going to turn that lighthouse on and we're going to support each other. But it just, after a while of kind of like, okay, well, where are the friends around me? And you know, and I think everybody has to realize everybody has a different personality, and sometimes personalities don't mesh well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Aw.
But I got lots of friends now, and I'm thankful for that. Very, very thankful.
I love that. Aw. I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that. I feel like sometimes people do have to go through certain things to prepare them for things in life that they're unaware of and all type of different things. Because I feel like for me, something that I went through that was a really, really hard time was when I was with my ex. He was killed, but prior to that happening, my mom, she lost her son. Her son was killed. And I feel like thinking back on it now, I didn't know back then when it first happened with my mom and my brother. But thinking back on it now, I feel like that was meant to happen so she would be able to understand the pain that I was going through, because she was the only one that was able to be there for me in the way that I really needed, and not in a way that they felt was necessary, because they didn't understand what I was going through, but she did. And it's so crazy when you're going through things, you don't fully understand it until later on everything just kind of unravels and it starts to make sense. And it's so dope how like life works like that. You know, when you're going through like the craziest situations, that's just something to prepare you for what's coming up next. And sometimes it's just so straining that you kind of feel like this is the end of the world, but really it's preparing you to be your best self,
Yeah.
or preparing you for something in the future that you obviously don't even know is like gonna happen until it does. So it's really crazy. And some situations are just like really just sad, but
And
yeah,
I'm so sorry you had to go through all that too as well.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
the one of my mods in the chat, she's like a sister to me, and she has an autistic son. I look at him as my nephew, and she knows she can call me anytime. And as someone who had somebody, thankfully, she didn't have any children, but she was a special needs teacher that became a friend of mine, who I could call up and say, "This is what's going on. This is what's going on." And they understood. You know, she may not be able to call too many people and say, "This is what's happening," but she can call me and I'll get it. You know, and I don't look at anything I've gone through. I've gone through counseling to not make it um, too much of a PTSD moment, you know, or flashbacks or so forth. But I've let people, I want people to know. It's like Supreme View. He's a great guy. And I let him know in the chat. I said, you know, there's sometimes I can be here to support and there's sometimes I can't. But it's not because of who you are. You're awesome. But it's because I went through an abusive marriage where there were cuss words flying. And when those cuss words start, I knew I was going to get it. And so sometimes it'll bring flashbacks and sometimes it won't. And that's the reason why. You know, it's not because I don't want to support. It's because sometimes it can be hard. And I don't mind telling that, because if it's one girl that's out there that's sitting there saying, you know what, I'll fix them, it'll be fine, I deserve that, and all this kind of stuff. No, you don't. I went through it for a reason, and I want to let people, you know, other girls or so forth, I mean, guys too as well, that are going through abusive. You do not need to be treated like that. I left with my 2-week-old daughter,
Mm.
with my husband, my ex-husband, threatening my life, and I had to leave and say,
Wow.
you got to get help. We can't do this. And if it saves one person, it'll be worth it.
I'm glad that you were strong enough to be able to leave, because some people, they're not strong enough to leave, or they hope that things will change, knowing deep down inside that it probably won't. And it turns into a situation that people hope will never like happen.
Well, when somebody sits there and says, "Why didn't they leave?" I totally understand why they didn't leave. I still went back 3 times. I was hoping. It was my family. I didn't want to, I cared about him. I loved him. But it wasn't meant to be. And I have since married my best friend, and we celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary. And he was the one that introduced me to this gentleman. And, you know, my husband and I got married, and he took in my daughter as his own and was able to legally adopt her even as an adult this past year. And God is good. And so
Yes.
I have forgiven. I wish him the best, and moved on. But if it helps to save somebody that they don't need to go through this, you do not need to be treated with disrespect.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm so happy you was able to get out of all of that. Thank you so much, Source, because I know that someone was asking for her So, but thank you all so much for being here on the live. This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with Mary from Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content, okay? So, the next question I have for you is, what do you plan to accomplish on your YouTube journey?
Well, I want to find ways of, first of all, I need the connection. It is a part of getting my mind off the fact that I hurt. I've actually been through like a 3-week sciatic nerve pain issue, which is not fun. When I get to heaven, I'm going to find out, God, why did you put that thing in there? And no doctor has been able to tell me why, but I'm getting through it. And I also, any of the revenue that we get goes to my mom. That really warms my heart. She's on a fixed income. Both my husband and I are disabled. But if she gets the revenue from this one and from Blessing Through Connection, and it helps her a little bit paying her bills or whatever she needs to do, I'm thrilled. I'm also doing it for legacy purposes. And I think some people don't realize how powerful that can be. I will hopefully, God willing, I never thought my daughter would get married. She was a beautiful bride. And I didn't think that I would even be a grandmother, or in Greek, yaya. And I'm going to hopefully have that down the road. And so one of these days, maybe my grandchildren will be able to see their yaya on the screen. I have nieces and nephews. This will become a legacy. And I told my mom she can't leave here till she's 150, but I know that that's not something that's probably won't happen. You know, I can't keep her that long. I'd love to have that. But eventually I can take this and put it over in my daughter's name and let her have the benefits of, you know, what comes through to help her and my grandchildren one day. We want to do what's called blessing boxes. We will be sending out soon our first blessing box, which is going to be full of yarn. Yarn can be expensive. A blanket could be $60 to make. But we have a lady in our chat who's trying to do 4,000 hats for veterans. And she is dealing with cancer. And so this helps her keep her mind off the pain and dealing with that. And so we would like to be able to send her some yarn to be able to help for that. And of course, anyone that would like to, you know, do some hats, our link tree is on our page. And, you know, message us and you can send it to us and we'll put it in there. And so we'd like to do that. We also do devotions. We do them pre-recorded. They are a little bit behind because this girl lost her aunt in March and then had a health issue for about 2 months that was pretty draining. But they're there, and we'd like to be in a position where, you know, if somebody says, listen, I need a Bible, we can send them one through Amazon. We'd like to have a little cash in our pocket. And if somebody's in the store and they're having to put food back, we can, you know, maybe take out a $20 bill and say, you know what, this is from the Blessed to Crochet community. We do Samaritans, you know, the Samaritans boxes, the shoe boxes. Every year, that's we fill those shoe boxes. We filled 2 last year. We want to fill at least 3 this year. And those go to children all over the world that may only wake up with a shoebox for their Christmas. And that's through Billy Graham's ministry. And we fill those every Christmas time. And that's in memory of my grandmother. And so I want to do good with this and bring people together. That's why we're doing Blessings Through Connection, because we want to get people, you know, together and connected and supporting. And it's all about the connection. So that's it's a lot, but I want to do something good because it helps me.
Yeah. That only not helps you, but it helps so many people and helps to inspire so many people. So I'm so happy that you're able to do something like that, because it's just when you start something, people are able to see it and they're able to follow suit. So you're really just starting a domino effect into good
Absolutely.
things, which is amazing. Yes. But thank you so much, Tina, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. And thank you so much, Lala, for that super chat. You are so dope. I appreciate all y'all for being here. This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with Mary from Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content, okay? So the next question I have for you here is, what daily mistake do you do often without thinking?
Sometimes, and I guess it goes back to my learning disability. I'm a talker. Audibly, I have to talk. And so if sometimes I'm trying to get something out, it doesn't always come out the way I know I want to say it in my head. And, I have said, I know that it, and I just think about it. I know it's crayons, but I come out with crowns. And so sometimes it's just it's frustrating, because I'm like, I know what I want to say and I say it. I'm like, that's not what I meant. I meant this. And so I thankfully have a very patient family and a very patient community that understands that, I get through it. And again, if you're struggling with a disability or a learning disability, don't let it stop you from going on the internet. We all make mistakes, far from perfect. And just do it. That's probably one of the things that I can say. I don't always doesn't always come out the way I intended it in my head. Or I'll write things and my mom will go, I know what you wanted to say, but this is not how you wrote it, because it just doesn't, there's a disconnect there, unfortunately. But I can talk. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So Lala was actually saying, I heard that crocheting teaches you patience. And I know you were speaking on that, but do you agree it teaches you patience?
Yes. And raising an autistic child, it teaches you even more patience. Yeah, it does. And I have a blanket that's over there, so I'll turn my camera off before we leave, and I'll make sure that I show you the current blanket I'm doing. Actually, for somebody that in our church, we don't have a pastor, but our visiting pastor, his wife has multiple sclerosis, and my grandfather had multiple sclerosis. The sweetest man you would have ever met in your life, and I'm very thankful that I got to be his granddaughter, even though I was not blood related to him. And so I'm doing a blanket. We've collected money together in our church to do the blanket for this sweet lady who's going through a tough time. So before we leave, I'll show it to you. You got to stick around to the end.
Yes, I love that. Okay. So my next question for you here is, would you rather drive a car that had a minimum speed of 200 miles per hour, or would you rather have a job that you hated but you had to work it for free?
I think the free part.
Yeah,
uh,
you ain't about to be up in that car.
well, no. Something that comes along with fibromyalgia is anxiety, and I have a really difficult time on the highways. And I think if you put me 200 miles an hour, you better have an anesthesiologist to knock me out, because I would never make it. We go a lot of the back roads in Ohio, because I can't handle the highways. It's like, nope, can't do it. So, and I purposely, sometimes I think we need to realize too, we need to do things that we may be fearful of doing. Or like, I didn't want to show everybody on YouTube that I don't do highways well, and I did it. And guess what happened? Somebody in the chat said, "You know what? I struggled with the same thing, and I thought I was the only one. I was worth it to maybe show something that was we were struggling with, that somebody else says, I can relate, because I do the same thing. I struggle the same way. So don't be afraid to show things you struggle with too, because you don't know how much it can relate to somebody else and feel like they're not alone. But I don't think my husband would want to be in a car with me at 200 miles an hour.
I know. Yeah, that would be That'll be difficult. I don't think I've ever actually been in a car with someone going like over 150. I can't even see that. I don't even think 130. I don't even really think like 120. I've done 100 before. I've done 100 before, but that was because I was and it was a really big highway and everyone was kind of driving fast, like even out here in Atlanta on like our main highway, the speed limit is 70, and most people on the highway they drive about like 80 or 90 on that highway, and that's kind of like normal, so I can do 100, but like 200, that's a definite no. That's like a race car.
Yeah,
That's like a race car.
exactly.
Yeah, they go that type of mileage.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I can't see myself doing it. But P9
neither can
says
I.
he won't have a problem. He said, "Give me the car." Mm-mm. Okay. So my next question for you here is, if you were to quit YouTube, what do you think your reason of doing that would be?
I think it's very easy to get discouraged, um,
Agreed.
because and to maybe have things happen that will sit there and say, I have, maybe two or three people in the chat. Why bother showing up? But you got to show up for yourself. And I think that we were on on the source, and it was fishy things, and he said 100, and I may get this wrong, but it was close to about 150 million YouTube channels, and only 3 million are monetized.
Mm.
And you know what? I thought I've really accomplished something pretty amazing to be in that 3 million. And all I did was I just started going live. And then I had an 8-second clip. You can go look at their shorts. And it is it's if you put up what the number one is, it's still the number one. It was from our dog Mocha, who I had on my phone. I didn't do any fancy editing to it, nothing. It was an 8-second clip that I sent to not the aunt that passed away, but another aunt that was coming to visit to show her what Mocha looked like because she's a staffy. And it was just, "Hi, sweetheart." Mocha tilted her head like staffies do. And that clip has received, and I put it on, for children because I didn't know what I was doing. It has received over 10,000 views, and that got 100 subscribers. So go through your
Wow.
phone. You don't know what gems you have on your phone. And I thought at that point, oh, this may be possible. But I think you have to realize you're going to get discouraged. Get some friends too that are in the world of content creating, because people that are in this world understand what you're going through. People that are on the other side of the camera, they don't understand it. This is a lot more hard work than it looks like.
Yeah.
It's not
100%
for the
agree.
faint of
I love
heart, let
that.
me
That's
tell you that.
amazing. That is true. Mm-mm. But I love that. I love that so much. Like, wow. It's amazing how when you get to like talking to people, you really get to see a whole different side of them. And that's what I really love about 20 Questions with Jay, because I feel like some people they won't fully understand someone, or they would probably even look at someone and not have a connection. But once they get to actually get a breakdown of who they really are and like just get to hear their story, they see that there's a lot in common that they really do have,
And
you
and
know.
don't judge a book by its cover. If you come to Blessed to Crochet, you may think all we do is this. We do not teach people how to crochet. I will go outside and take my rocking chair. I will not do it in December through a certain time of the year because it's too cold. But I'll take my portable little rocking chair outside. I'll take my blankets and we'll crochet, or I'll take these outside and talk about them and crochet some of these and so forth. I don't feel comfortable to teach people how to crochet. But I want a crochet connection. I want to make a beautiful tapestry of that. So don't look at a channel and say, oh, they crochet, or look at their videos. They're all about devotions. We have recipes. We have jokes. We'll get back to quote Mondays. We put a quote out every Monday. I've missed a couple of Mondays lately. We do our weekly recaps. We take you've gotten a shout out. We've taken a shout out every day, and we put that at 12 o'clock noon on both channels. And then we take those shout outs for the week. We put them in a recap with our theme song for both of the channels. My daughter sings. We do recipes on that channel. We put up Mocha. We tell people about special projects like the prison project that we're looking at trying to fill a box, or, all different kind of things. And so don't judge a book by its cover. Don't just look at it and say, oh, they're all about the crochet. I don't crochet. You never know what's in there. Go check them out first. And blessing this through connection, we make everybody a mod when they come in. We want you guys coming in there, going and connecting with each other, going and supporting if you're already connected with them, doing it the correct way, and making those connections and keeping those connection engines going. And people are just chit-chatting in the chat, and it's wonderful to see. I'm loving what's happening over there.
Yeah.
So don't just look at the name.
I love that so much. I know, right?
We say we're blessed to crochet, but you're
that.
blessed to do something. That's for sure.
OMG. I love that so much. You are so full of life. And I love that so much for you, because for someone that has been through so much, you have so much to be thankful for. And it just shows through like your voice and just like the way you just seem so happy. Like, what keeps you so strong?
Well, my family keeps me strong. There's times I'm not so strong. And I have cried on my channel. When my aunt died on March 9th, I had friends that I immediately called. I was literally just shaking. We knew it was coming. She had stage 4 liver and lung cancer, but we didn't know that she had been moved from her home to a facility and anything like that. And I said to my daughter, I will never show up at your house unannounced and uninvited, but unless something happens to your dog, and as well as if something happens to a family member. And so we drove to her house, and we said to her, we're in the driveway. And on the way home is when I sat there and I, got on live, and I got on with my community, and I cried. And I've come on since, having times where I'm like, guys, I'm not okay. This is really hard. I don't like this season in my life. I don't like having to go through this grief. I don't like that she's not going to call again. And I think everybody can resonate with that, because we've all gone through it, or we've all gone through the process of going through it. And then on top of it, I had some health issues. I was in the hospital Easter. I went live from the hospital and let people know where I was. And they were, I was going through something. They were about ready to give me a blood transfusion because I was, just having some difficulty. But I'm going to, come back. I'll never be, I'll never be where I was if I wasn't dealing with the fibromyalgia, but I'm not certainly where I was for those like 3 months that just totally drained me.
Yeah. Okay. So Supreme, I don't believe that he was here when you were speaking on as far as like the prison project he was speaking on. Can you elaborate on that?
The prison project, there is a Netflix series. It's called The Quilters. And they have come, a group of men in, I think, Missouri. It is a maximum security prison. And these men say, I got to be tough on the outside, but on the inside, I get to be soft when I go into into this room, the sewing room. And they've made 2,000 blankets for foster children in their local area. They make weighted vests for special needs autistic individuals, as well as weighted blankets. They make beautiful quilts. And they go and volunteer their time from 8:30 to like 8 o'clock to like 3:30 in the afternoon, 5 days a week. They have to have nothing on their record, and they have to have, be on their best behavior to go do that. And they do take donations. It's run solely on donations. So they take batting, they take sewing, thread, they take fabric, they take, sewing machines, all that kind of stuff. And we would like to get a box together of supplies that we can send them. And in the video we did called The Quilters, you'll see in the description is the place you can send donation, as well as the email. You can contact the person in charge of the program. And we're trying to get a box together to send them. And you should see these really strong men, and they get these, letters from these children that they have made these blankets for, and they're just in tears, because some of these kids are just walking out of their house with the shirts on their, the clothes on their back. These are blankets they get to carry with them for the rest of their life. So it was a pretty impactful program. And my aunt was a recovering alcoholic and drug user. And so she was in a prison for many years of her life. And I go through being in a pain prison throughout my day. And we all can sometimes put ourselves in there. But these men are trying to find a way, even though they've put themselves in the prison, they're finding a way to do something good in the midst of it. So, and they're not going to let it stop them. So I thought I have to bring it to our crew.
Yeah.
Our community.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I think that's so dope. And I've never actually heard of that before. So I think that's really dope.
I think we need more of them. And I said on my live, we not only need more of them, but we need more of them outside of the prisons, because some of the younger men were teaching the older men were teaching the younger men and mentoring them. And it was just amazing to see. So.
Yeah, that's really dope. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with Mary from Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content, okay? So this question I have for you is actually your last question. So thank you so much for making it this far into the interview, and thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate that.
Welcome anytime. We're crocheting that connection.
Okay, so this question is, would you rather be a tester for all new vaccines or have to pick up every leaf in the forest one by hand?
Oh, leaf for sure. I would. I wouldn't make it. I can't even do the flu shot because I'm allergic to the egg whites. And so I can have little amounts of egg whites, but I can't have big amounts. And so the flu shot is made with egg whites, and I can't touch it. So I can't have angel food cake or anything like that, because this girl will be sneezing for hours. So I can't have
Man, and there's so much food that is made with eggs. I can't even believe it. So if someone was to so it's like the egg whites, that would be if it's boiled, or it doesn't matter.
I can have egg whites. I just can't have them in large quantities at once. Like I can't sit down. Like there's a Greek soup. Every time we used to have Christmas Eve with my grandparents in Florida, my grandfather was Greek and my grandmother was Scottish. So she made something called octolemmal soup, which is made with like 12 or 13 egg whites. I can't touch that. It's too many concentrated at once. So what we would do is I'd always get pizza or Chinese food or something like that. They let me have something like that because I couldn't have it. I can't have angel food cake. I could have 2 eggs, or we have a recipe on our channel called egg pie. I can have that. I just can't have like meringues and all that. It's just too much concentrated of the egg whites. And so I'd have to sit in the doctor's office for a half an hour after I had the flu shot to make sure that I wasn't going to go into anything and they could treat me right there. And I'm like, I felt so lousy every time I had it. I'm like, forget it. He said, I don't even bother. So when the C plus math shot came out, my doctor looked at me and he said, don't you touch that with a 10-foot pole. I don't plan on it because I'm an asthmatic. He said, no. So I have to be I'm careful. but I can have egg whites. I just can't have them in angel food kind of cake kind of thing.
Right.
So,
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, yes. So since we're at the end of the show, are you able to show us your blanket
yes,
you were speaking
give
of
me
earlier?
a minute
Okay.
and I'll go get it.
All right. You guys, I'm so excited that all of you were here. Thank you so much for my new member, Tina, my baby girl. Thank you so much. And Supreme, I hope that you hurry up and interview her because I'm ready for her to come on 20 Questions with Jay. Okay. So you need to figure out whatever it is you're doing, child, so I can get my hands on her. Okay, yes. And thank you so much, Lala, for the donation. I appreciate you. You are so amazing. Wifey in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all are so amazing. I hope that you being connected to Mary. I know that sometimes it's difficult to connect to people, but I hope that hearing her story, that you guys are able to connect with her and really just see a different side of her that you're able to connect to because she's really an amazing person. I can't believe you made that. That looks like something you'll buy in the store.
It's not done yet.
Yeah, I see the thread hanging off on the end.
Yeah. Well, understand there's about 3 threads in this specific blanket running at the same time. So you can see the hearts on the one end. So that goes around the entire blanket. And then there's there's words on the bottom. So this is saying like time. And then of course the hearts over here. And then it's going to say God is good all the time. So these are my favorite blankets to do because they can be very, very personable. And I think I've done about 13 or 14 of them. And I'm trying to learn how to do our own patterns. I've done one for my husband. We spent our honeymoon in St. Augustine. So I took his, it's actually on the channel. And you look up lighthouse blanket. And I took the lighthouse, I got a pattern for that. And then I actually reconstructed it to make it look like the St. Augustine lighthouse. And people are like, those look like quilts by the time they're done, but they're actually done with a bobble stitch. They're hands down my favorite because you get like you ever a cross stitch, it's like a huge cross stitch pattern that you're putting together. And I don't add stitches to that one for some reason when I do these. And I like doing C to C's, which look like a diagonal, but I do these now a majority of the time. I put babies' names
That's
on them,
amazing.
birth dates, and all different kind of stuff. And I did one for my daughter's mother-in-law that says "time for tea" because she's a tea drinker, and I figured it'd be something she enjoyed. And our pastor retired, so I did one for him, and I just love doing them.
Oh, I love that. And you're so
Yeah,
good at it. I was not expecting it to look like that. That looks like something I would buy in the store. It looks so
yeah.
good. And I love how like straight you have the colors. Like it looks amazing. I love
Well,
it.
and if people want to reach out,
Yes.
if it our link tree is there. If anybody does want to reach out, just think about this. If anybody is just, their kids are getting married, maybe their grandkids are getting married, you know, they'll get enough pots. I've been through this with my daughter, pots and all the kitchen stuff and all that kind of stuff is a wedding present. But what about maybe even the parents coming together and having a blanket done, or the grandparents coming together, or aunts and uncles coming together and making a blanket happen for their, the individuals that are getting married? Because we can put their names on it and all that kind of stuff, depending on the length of the name. But think about doing something like that because that's a legacy. For my daughter's first year anniversary, I did what's called a temperature blanket, which I'm never doing for anybody else again. It is literally getting all the temperatures from their entire year of their first year of marriage and putting them in a blanket and doing a color for each, like it was from 80 to 90 was this color, and then 70 to 60 was this color, and that was 365 rows. That was
Wow.
one and done. But we will do blankets. If you are ever interested, I will do them. I say, let me go buy the yarn, and I give the rest to mama. I'm happy because I get the yarn. Um, and it's just something to think about outside of the box of normally thinking we're going to go get them a crock pot, or we're going to go get this, or we come together and, do something. And we try, some of those blankets can go for $600. We don't charge that much. We want them to be affordable to some degree, for people that can say, when I want to think outside the box and give something that they can treasure. So if you're ever interested or need it, just reach out, and we'll see what we can work out.
Do you do blankets for like funerals? Like, how they do like the roses like over the caskets? Do you do like stuff like that?
You could. I've never done it. I've done it for there's a gentleman in our church that he did one for each one of his grandkids. He had me do one for each one. And he has got a grandkid coming. He said, be prepared. You're going to have another blanket. You could, and then take that blanket and give it to someone just to hold on to. I did a very special blanket for a friend of mine whose daughter was taken away by someone else's hands. Their daughter's name is the same as my daughter's name. And I did a very special blanket with that name on it. And I will be sending it out very soon, because you know what? She may never be able to hug her daughter again, but she can certainly wrap herself up in this blanket and maybe feel that hug, and feel that love from that. So, I just think that, and I've had people reach out, and what I did with like the corner to corner is some of them, I had two mothers actually reach out and send me the colors of their daughter's wedding. And I tried to find the colors that were going to match, and I made the C2C blanket in those colors. So it's just another thing that I don't think we think of handmade gifts like this anymore. Let's just go to the store and get something. But it's certainly something that can be done, and maybe coming together as a family to make it happen. Because they're certainly special.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My daughter loves horses, and she went through equestrian therapy for 10 years. That was another therapy we did with her. And now she works in a stable. And the lady loves hiring those on the spectrum because they really are in touch with the horses. And I was so just thankful for the director who hired her, and then they also give her private lessons as part of, the benefit of working there. And so I found a pattern with horses on it, and I was able to make her a blanket just to say, thank you for looking at these kids past the label. And I made it, and my daughter she knows what to give her mama for Christmas, a $10 gift card to Hobby Lobby. And what did I do? I went there, bought yarn to do the blanket to give away, because to me, that was the joy, the joy of doing something for someone else. So she was amazed. It ended up being a beautiful, beautiful blanket. But I've done one for, I've done one. Kristen Melinda, one of my moderators, I did, her son's autistic. He loves dinosaurs. I did a dinosaur blanket for him. And so I just love doing them, because it gets my mind off of, oh, by the way, my body don't want to work today.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, everyone that's here in the chat, and everyone that was here, and everyone that's watching the replay. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. This is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with Mary. Her channel name is Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we leave?
Remember, guys, to be proud of being yourself. Everyone else is taken. You've got to do that. We have our outro with a friend of mine who was blind from the day he was born. He has a beautiful voice. We kind of use his song, his music. He's very thankful that I'm able to get his music out there, and have somebody hear it. And so we play that song. It's on our channel. Listen to that song when you guys get discouraged. Don't let anything stop you. You know, keep crocheting that connection. Keep those connection engines going. And do not stay in your niche. Go to as many places as you can find amazing communities and get to know people. And look past what the channel says and get to know the channel and the person in it. And, you know, YouTube did a study recently. You're not building a community, or you're not building an audience, you're building a community. And it's all about the connection and getting to know each other. And we've got to stick together. We got to be there to support each other. And we do a post on Blessed to Crochet and Blessing Through Connection. It comes out at 12 o'clock every solitary day, a.m. And you guys can go to that. It's Mocha's Daily Connection Hub, and then Daily Connection Hub over at Blessing Through Connection. Let us know when you guys are doing your lives and your premieres. Say hi to each other. If you're already connected with somebody, go over and support them. Watch a short for them. Leave a comment. That's your footprint in this YouTube streets. And just keep going. And, you know, if you need a channel shout out, our link tree is on our page. We have a specific email for that. Reach out, put your channel information in. We're always looking for that. And our channel recaps come out at 8 p.m. every Monday and 12 noon on both channels for our shout outs. And you've seen them. We try to make them very, very, we want to focus on one person when we do it. And so we're glad to do it and continue to do it. Never give up. Absolutely.
Yes, I love that. Mhm. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Again, this is 20 Questions with Jay, and I am here with Mary from Blessed to Crochet. Please make sure to go over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her content. And you guys have an amazing night. Bye.
Absolutely. Love y'all.